Good afternoon. My name is Jen DeMudd, and I am with the Manufacturing Growth Alliance, also known as MGA. Our mission is to support small manufacturers across the state. Thank you for being part of the conversation today. Digital technologies are impacting all manufacturers. The pandemic has accelerated the need for small to medium manufacturers to learn, access resources, and implement Industry 4.0 technologies to solve challenges, increase efficiencies, and stay competitive. We have a full agenda today. We will hear from a number of organizations who are paving the path for small manufacturers to become equipped to adopt Industry 4.0 technologies. Our presenters will take about 40 to 45 minutes in total to share. You can place any questions in the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen, and we will make sure to respond to all of those questions. We are recording the conversation to share with manufacturers in Southwest Michigan. First on the agenda is Natalie, Vice President of Pure Michigan Business Connect and International Trade at the MEDC. She will share insights into Michigan's Industry 4.0 initiative. Thank you for being here, Natalie.
Thanks so much, Jen. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me. So today I'm here to discuss an exciting new multi-pronged initiative that was launched at the state level to support Michigan small and medium-sized manufacturers in becoming Industry 4.0 ready. As you already know, actually next slide. As you already know, around the globe, Michigan is synonymous with manufacturing. But in order for Michigan to remain competitive and successful in the future of manufacturing, we must be the most advanced and productive by positioning our workforce and our companies at the forefront of technology. So during our statewide economic development strategic planning process back in 2019, we recognized that we need to prepare our small and medium-sized manufacturers for the digital transformation that's already underway. Next slide. In the study shown here, only 12% of the small and medium-sized manufacturers said they were very prepared to adopt Industry 4.0 technologies, with the remaining saying that they're somewhat prepared, a little prepared, or not prepared at all. And this presents a big problem when it comes to the future of our state's manufacturing industry. This convergence of digital and physical technologies all require new ways of thinking and working. And if we don't prepare for the onset of Industry 4.0 today, here in Michigan, a staggering 42% of our current labor force could be impacted by automation. Next slide. So how are we taking that potential risk and turning it into an opportunity for Michigan to become a national leader in this space? We have established a multi-pronged effort to support businesses along this digital transformation journey. Our ambitious goal is to ensure 50% of all Michigan manufacturers, or 6,200 businesses, will be prepared to adopt Industry 4.0 by 2025. Next slide. In order to support manufacturers statewide, we have built upon our partnership with 2 existing leaders to provide support services no matter where a company is on their journey to become Industry 4.0 ready. And you'll hear from these 2 leaders later on in today's discussion. So our partnership with Automation Alley is all about awareness. Automation Alley is the Industry 4.0 Knowledge Center, helping companies understand what this shift means for their business and culture. And because of this enhanced partnership, all Michigan manufacturers have access to their education, their leadership evaluations, and resources. And to complement the work with Automation Alley, the Michigan Manufacturing Technology Center is providing in-depth technology assessments for small and medium-sized manufacturers, recommending Industry 4.0 technologies best suited for profitability improvement and job retention for their unique businesses. Additionally, they are providing an opportunity for companies to see technologies firsthand through their road shows. At the same time, we will continue to address the proven lack of awareness of the impact and the importance of Industry 4.0 preparedness across the state through a comprehensive paid marketing campaign encouraging small and medium-sized manufacturers in state to become better prepared for the future industry trends and growth. Next slide. In addition to our partnership with Automation Alley and MMTC, we also wanted to support regional programming and initiatives. And these regional partners are providing education, pilot grants, events, and webinars, increasing the overall awareness and preparedness of their different areas of the state. So you'll see the Manufacturing Growth Alliance as part of this group, which is why we're connecting today. So with this 5-year strategy to support manufacturers throughout the state, we are partnering at the state level, providing consistent services for all manufacturers. We are partnering with the regional organizations, providing local opportunities to grow the industry based on targeted needs. And finally, we're executing a marketing campaign, generating awareness that we're here to support companies throughout their digital transformation. And through these partnerships, awareness, and education, we are continuing to reinforce our state's value proposition and leadership in advanced manufacturing and the jobs it supports for years to come. So for more information about this initiative, please visit michiganbusiness.org/industry4-0. And next, I will turn it over to Kristen O'Neill, who is the program manager at Automation Alley, to talk about what Industry 4.0 is.
Thank you, Natalie. Thank you, Jen. Hi, everybody. I am so excited to be here doing my absolute favorite thing to do, which is talking about Industry 4.0 and digital transformation in manufacturing. This is something that at Automation Alley, we are deeply passionate about, and we live and breathe every day. Our entire mission is to make sure that companies have access to understand what Industry 4.0 is. So I'm going to start by giving you the official party line and looking at Industry 4.0 sort of from a broad perspective. So Industry 4.0, we've all heard it. We've all heard it kicked around. It is overlaying technology onto the physical world. So it's that convergence of digital and physical. We break it down into 8 technologies. They're arbitrarily broken down. You'll see 6, you'll see 8, you'll see 9, you'll see 12. Ours are Internet of Things, big data, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, robotics, 3D printing or additive manufacturing, augmented and virtual reality, and cybersecurity. So again, those are somewhat arbitrary and they are general technology groups that things fall into. And often you'll see multiple prongs and multiple technologies all embedded into one core service. And that's really the goal of Industry 4.0. So I talk to companies a lot about that difference and that shift from Industry 3.0 to Industry 4.0. And easy ways of thinking about it, Industry 3.0 is putting a sensor on a machine. We're getting data out of it, we're connected, we've got a computer now on a physical machine. The move to Industry 4.0 would be taking a machine learning algorithm, overlaying it on top of that, and really doing predictive analytics. So it's not about changing what you do, it's not about getting a new machine or a new sensor, it's about doing it smarter and faster and more efficient by overlaying other technologies on top of it. One of my favorite recent stories, we had a company come through one of our programs called Project Diamond. They were very hesitant about 3D printing, brought in a 3D printer through this grant that we've got through Oakland County and Macomb counties. And they are now utilizing 3D printing to change their production and prototyping. So it's that transformation into that's something I don't want to touch to holy cow, this has completely transformed my business. When we talk about Industry 4.0, a lot of the conversation is around the technology, but at its core, it's about business. It's about understanding your business and understanding how those technologies are going to augment. It's about creating a culture of innovation. What does it look like when a new employee brings a new idea to the table in your business? Is there an infrastructure for feedback? Do we have a mechanism for continual improvement, continuous improvement? All of those pieces of moving from this is the standard protocol, this is how we've always done it, to Things change on a dime. They change lightning fast, and we need to be able to prepare for it. So that's really that cultural transformation that we're helping companies figure out how to plug into. I'm going to be cognizant of my time here because I could talk about this for about 2 hours, but I won't, I promise. Getting into that next step of how do we implement Industry 4.0. So now we've had that high level, this is what it is, this is what it can look like. What's stopping you, right? Like we all know this stuff, it's not brand new information. We have heard myriad barriers and roadblocks. Our company doesn't support new technology. We don't have an infrastructure for it. I don't really get it. I think it's all hype. I can't see how it's going to build my ROI. I'm focused on production. I don't have time for it. Lots and lots of barriers. All of those objections come down to one of three things: a technology issue, a culture issue, or an investment issue, a finance issue. And looking at how we can support businesses in those three areas of their company allows a structure where innovation and Industry 4.0 can flourish. And if we start by pushing Industry 4.0 down, we run into kludgy issues. So it's about building up your company and your business so you can be prepared for whatever comes. Who knows what's going to be coming down the pipeline? And that's, I think, truly the core of the Industry 4.0 and digital transformation that we are committed to, our partners at MEDC and MMTC are committed to, our partners at MGA and various economic growth organizations around the state are committed to. And it's all about connecting companies to the resources they need in order to be successful through that digital transformation. So with that, I am wrapping my time on Industry 4.0, and I am very happy to turn it over to Jack Russell, the president of Rolar Manufacturing.
Jack, are you able to share your comments? I unmuted you. Oh, and I see that Jack dropped off, so maybe he clicked a button and is now unable to share. We will keep an eye for Jack to come back on. So Kristen, if you'd like to continue forward, and we'll circle back to Jack. I'll connect with them via his phone, and we'll circle back to Jack. And if you could continue on with the leadership evaluation.
Twist my arm and let me keep talking, Jen. I guess I can comply. This is, again, I know I keep saying I'm super excited, but I'm just jazzed about this stuff. I love this stuff. One of the things that we found in looking at how companies can engage with Industry 4.0 is the awareness that we've talked about on this call up to this point. It's about understanding it and seeing it and feeling it and living it and breathing it. And then it's also about the business case. So what we've done at Automation Alley is we are so fortunate to have partners like the MEDC who fund programming for small and mid-sized manufacturers to access these resources at no charge. We have our essential membership. It's a no-charge membership, is available to any manufacturer in Michigan. Are you in Michigan? Do you make something? Then you qualify. You have access to digital resources. Within this digital resource package, we are offering companies a free download of our technology and industry report. This is a deep research document. It's got case studies from industry. We produce it every year. I think this is the 4th or 5th year that it's in this particular iteration. When it's printed, it's about 150 pages. It's deep, deep research. And all of our companies get access to that through their essential membership. Additionally, we want to make sure that companies can get hands-on with this stuff. So MMTC has that fantastic roadshow program. They bring their truck. I'm sure they'll go into that. I'm going to do a terrible job of explaining it. But it's a truck where they can come around, companies can get hands-on with technologies. And then we kind of bring everybody together in October for our Integrate conference. That's again an opportunity to get hands-on with technologies, to meet partners, and all of our manufacturers through our funding from the MEDC have access to one in-person ticket to Integrate. That is October 19th. We'll have lots of links everywhere and get everybody access to their free ticket, but do make sure that you know you have a free in-person ticket. It's in Detroit and it's on October 19th. The last thing that we look at is our leadership evaluation. And this is something new that we created to help companies navigate building that business case for Industry 4.0 and really diving into the ROI and really diving into like, what are your first steps that you need? What do I need to get in place so that I can really take advantage of this assessment that the MMTC comes in and helps connect me with technologies or resources from any of our partners? The leadership evaluation is fast, it's mobile, a couple of minutes. I think we took it in 3 or 4 minutes, and that's really diving into it. Pull it up on your phone. What you'll end up with is a report that gives you a real-time comparison to how your business relates to other manufacturers. We aggregate that data set. We compare every single result in real time against that aggregate data set. And so you can see exactly where you compare on things like culture and technology and finance and roadblocks and barriers. You end up with recommendations and next steps. So it's a fantastic resource in what do I do? Where do I go? Where do I start? Once you have that in hand, we'll connect you with all of the other partners who can help you take those steps and walk through your digital transformation. So if you have questions on how to access any of that stuff, please let me know. I know we'll be providing links at the end as well. And we are more than happy to connect with me on LinkedIn, hop on our website, shoot me an email, and we are thrilled to get you guys in and get you guys connected to Industry 4.0 services. With that, I will now hand it over to Mark Gettle with the Michigan Manufacturing Technology Center.
Thank you, Kristen. And thank you, Jen, for allowing me the opportunity to present to you. My name is Mark Gettle. I'm a Business Solutions Manager for the Michigan Manufacturing Technology Center, otherwise known as the Center. I represent what the state of Michigan calls Region 8, which are the 7 Southwest Michigan counties. And it is from Calhoun, Branch, St. Joe, Kalamazoo, Cass, Van Buren, and Berrien counties is what I represent. Next slide, please. The Michigan Manufacturing Technology Center is partially funded through the federal government through the Department of Commerce by way of NIST, or the National Institute of Standards and Technology. We are part of the Hollis Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program, or MEP program. The Michigan Manufacturing Technology Center is the state of Michigan's MEP, and there are 50 other MEPs in each of the remaining 49 states, as well as Puerto Rico. We're also, as you know, now closely affiliated with the Michigan Economic Development Corporation, with a shared goal of making Michigan businesses vibrant, driving GDP growth, and creating new and lasting jobs. Next slide, please. The center helps small and medium-sized manufacturers prosper and grow through consultative training, support, and market research and growth strategies, operational excellence initiatives, leadership development, and manufacturing process skills training. We are embedded in the local manufacturing community. I myself reside in Kalamazoo, yet we leverage our national network of expertise through the Manufacturing Extension Partnership. Our partially funded status allows us to provide premium world-class services at lower rates. Next slide, please. As you already know, we are partnering up with the MEDC and Automation Alley. We have had our funding increased through the MEDC to provide a Industry 4.0 technology opportunity assessment at no charge to Michigan manufacturers. It's the goal to hopefully provide up to 3,200 or over 3,000 of these assessments between now and 2025. Our goal right now is to do 300 for the remainder of 2021, and we're about halfway through that goal. Next slide, please. As Kristen mentioned, we operate with 9 different legs of Industry 4.0 technology, and at the risk of being redundant, I'll just go through them quickly. Cybersecurity, augmented and virtual reality, big data, robotics or cobotics, additive manufacturing, which is otherwise known as 3D printing, simulation, systems integration such as ERP systems or MES systems, cloud computing, and Internet of Things. Next slide, please. The technology opportunity assessment is a list of 40 questions. And you can see this is the first question is, what is the company's strategy for technology adoption? Is it on the line number 1. This lasts about 2 hours in length, and we do a value stream walkthrough of the facility from the beginning where the raw materials are delivered to the plant all the way through to the end where the finished goods are shipped out of the plant. What this technology addresses is 3 different areas: the voice of business, voice of customer. And what we mean by the voice of business, voice of customer, I'll give you an example. I have a machine, a tier 3 automotive supplier in Stevensville, and he ultimately delivers to Toyota as his OEM. And Toyota is requiring all its supply chain to have barcoding for its work in progress, so they don't have any disruption in the supply chain. That's what we talk about with voice of business, voice of customer. The assessment itself is split into 4 different areas: strategy, infrastructure, information systems, and operations. As you can see, we stratify the scoring on a 1, 5, or 10. And 10 being really a real need, 5 somewhat of a need, and 1 no need at all as it relates to the question. Then we also ask that same question of where is your current state as it relates to your technology, your hardware? Do you censor machines? And then thirdly, it gets into your systems. How do you collect data? Do you collect data? Is it electronic? Is it through spreadsheets? Do you even need to collect any data at all? And what the scoring does is we try to identify gaps between what the voice of business and voice of customer is asking of us, you, the company, as well as, and where do you sit today with regard to where you are industry 4.0 readiness. So as you can see in the example of strategy in this example here, there's a high need, a 7.7 average for strategy as it relates to what the voice of business, voice of customer is asking, and the technology and systems are lagging behind, and that identifies where the gaps are as it relates to where you are in your readiness and where the lowest hanging fruit is to how to address those issues. Next slide, please. As I said, I'm being redundant here in this slide deck. It's assessment process for following the value stream. We asked the C-level management to be part of the operations or part of the assessment. And again, we went through the voice of business and the technology and systems, and it's conducted on site by an industry 4.0 representative from the center, as well as myself or my other peers throughout the state, the other business solutions managers throughout the state. Our industry 4.0 team consists of a 6 Sigma master, lean master black belt, a financial planner, as well as an individual who's been spending his time in the industry 4.0 realm vetting suppliers. Next slide, please. You can see a little bit bigger part of this diagram that was on the other previous slide. That's a Gantt chart that really is a visual presentation of the gaps. As you can see, the strategy on top, infrastructure, information systems, operations, and then the dots with the colors, the voice of business, voice of customer in purple, technology in yellow, and systems in blue. And it's just a visual presentation of where the gaps are. Next slide, please. After the technology assessment is performed, we set up a Zoom meeting or a Teams meeting about 2 weeks later and get back to provide the company with the summary and recommendations. It's going to be based on the shared experience from the walkthrough and all the questions that were asked. We're going to identify the gaps, if there are any compliance issues. We also ask you to release some information regarding metrics as it relates to scrap, machine uptime, inventory turnover, accounts receivable turnover, and these are all stratified on a layout that displays the current state. And then we compare that data with similar data to your peers of like size of companies in the database, and shows where you are as it relates to how well or how strong and where the areas of improvement are and where your strengths are. From that, we can take that current state data, such as scrap at 5%, and say if we want to reduce that down to 2%, what does that do to it calculates it through and shows an income benefit on the operating statement. So what our assessments normally are not a surprise to the client as far as the results. Most people that we've encountered and have ended up understanding where they are, what they need. Sometimes it validates, but also tends to bring out other opportunities that they never even thought of before. So what we do with the report out is show that information and then recommend what types of technology you might be ready to pursue, or what types of training, mentoring, any Kaizen or project management. What we try to do with regard to our services, we try to fund it as much as we can through grants such as Going Pro, and then others might be charged for the service as well. But it's worthwhile, and make sure I understand that there is no actual charge at all for this assessment. That concludes my part of the presentation. So at this time, I'd like to introduce Ashley Breitner from the Associate Director of Economic Growth Institute, the Associate Director from the Economic Growth Institute at the University of Michigan, talking about regional resources and 3 opportunities.
And actually, Ashley, I'm gonna, we have Jack back on the line, so I'm going to toss it over to Jack and see if we can get Jack's audio connected, and we can hear a little bit from Jack. So Jack, I am working on unmuting you. So you should be unmuted now, Jack. Can you say something to make sure we can hear you? Well, we're still not hearing you, Jack. Maybe your phone is unmuted or muted. Okay, well, we will, as Mark indicated, we will go to Ashley, and I will connect with Jack one more time. So Ashley, if you could take it from here, that would be fantastic.
Great, thanks, Jen. Hopefully everyone can hear me well, and good afternoon. As Jen mentioned, I'm Ashley Breitner, Associate Director at the Economic Growth Institute, or also known as EGI, because we all need another acronym in our life, here at the University of Michigan. EGI has been working with small to medium-sized manufacturers across the state of Michigan for more than 35 years here at the university. We're thrilled today to be partnering with MGA on one of the regional initiatives that Natalie mentioned earlier today, to support small to medium-sized manufacturers, particularly in Southwest Michigan, in increasing awareness and preparedness of Industry 4.0. Next slide, please, Jen. So through a series of activities, including educational webinars, company analysis, and technical assistance projects, MGA and EGI will be working to ensure manufacturers in Southwest Michigan have the foundational and practical knowledge to move forward with implementing elements of Industry 4.0 to really ensure that all of you remain competitive in the industries you serve here in the years to come. Next slide, please. So next up, I want to dig into a little bit more about what those 3 phases entail to give you an understanding of some resources available to you. Next slide. First, through a series of educational webinars, we are going to work to introduce you to a series of Industry 4.0 technologies that we've really seen our manufacturing clients successfully implement and really prove effective in their day-to-day environments. Here, also in these webinars, you'll hear more about real-world applications from manufacturers just like yourselves, and become connected to resources to support next steps in evaluating if these technologies could be the resources you need to address a particular need that your company is facing right now, or to look into the future. So we see education as step 1 in breaking down those barriers that Kristen spoke about earlier today. Next slide. Our slides will be available. Jen will distribute them in follow-up to the info session today. So on the previous slide, you just saw the dates of those webinars available, and we will distribute the slides so that you all can reference those and know where to go to register for those webinars. So after you get a chance to listen to these webinars, you might find yourself asking the question, how do I know if my company is ready to implement some of these technologies? So in phase 2 of the MGA EGI regional partnership in Southwest Michigan, EGI will conduct what we call a top-down analysis of the company. So after signing non-disclosure agreements with the University of Michigan here to ensure that your company's data is protected and excluded from the Freedom of Information Act that usually the university is governed under, EGI will conduct a detailed financial analysis of your company, including a ratio analysis and a company valuation. So have you wondered recently, what your company is valued at? EGI's analysis will not only help you to better understand its value, but really what this analysis does is it allows us to see into the firm's stability, strength, and financial aptitude to handle and integrate new technologies. For companies that have financial stability and aptitude, EGI then has the ability to conduct an operational analysis with you. This helps us to further evaluate other areas of your business critical to technology integration. So we look at elements such as leadership, sales, planning, marketing, your people, operations, and the legal side of your business while touring your facility. Both the financial and the operational analysis are done at no cost to you and with very minimal time commitment on your part. EGI's output of our phase 2 is the financial analysis and valuation, followed by a leveled set of recommendations to increase the firm's value. From those recommendations, opportunities for high leveraged Industry 4.0 adoption projects will be brought forward. So as we dig into the details of your company, we will identify a series or potential opportunities for your company to integrate some of those elements of Industry 4.0 that our other partners have talked about today. Next slide, please. So these projects could then lead you to phase 3. So phase 3 of the regional project we will be qualifying a limited number of companies with high potential projects for a $10,000 grant in matching funds towards implementing at least one of those Industry 4.0 projects. Our team will find the best resources to help you implement this project, and will help you to project manage through its implementation right alongside your team. Please keep in mind, the quicker you move through the financial and the operational analysis, the more likely you are to qualify for that $10,000 in limited grant funding available. Next slide, please. So with that, we're looking forward to engaging, hopefully with many of you on the call today here over the next few months through the webinars and through the assessments to hopefully qualify you for that grant funding available to start some implementation of Industry 4.0 in your companies. So at this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Jen to either talk with Jack potentially if he's back on, or talk a little bit more about our regional partners.
Thank you so much, Ashley. We are so committed to getting Jack on the line that we are going to give it one more try. I know I've spoken with Jack a few times over the past few months, and he has a story to share. So let's try this one more time, Jack, and see if we can get you connected here. Jack, can we? Jack, we're still unable to hear you. I see that you're unmuted, but for some reason, we're just not able to connect. So what we will do is we will continue on with the presentation, and Jack, I'll connect with you here in just a little bit. So partner engagement is extremely important with the statewide initiative, which obviously includes our regional partnerships as well. So creating awareness of Industry 4.0 resources, both from a statewide and regional resources, could not be possible without our partners. They are critical to sharing information about Industry 4.0, as well as they're critical in providing a wide variety of other resources to support small to medium manufacturers. As the Manufacturing Growth Alliance and the Economic Growth Institute engage with you through the webinars and conversations, we will hear more about what keeps you up at night, what your pain points are, and when it makes sense, we'll connect you with regional partners to help alleviate some of those pain points. The screen identifies a variety of partners, and there are many more. Next, we'd like to briefly cover some next steps for you. You can see on the slide some next steps, but I'm going to just walk you through a few of them. So there are a variety of next steps options for you. We recommend that you start with participating in the Industry 4.0 webinars, the educational webinars for Southwest Michigan manufacturers. The first one will be on June 29th at 9 a.m. And the webinar will share insights on advanced technologies such as AR, VR, analytics, and additive manufacturing. We also encourage you to take advantage of the 2 statewide resources. That is the leadership evaluation through Automation Alley, as well as the technology opportunity assessments with MMTC, also known as the Center. From there, please consider talking with MGA and EGI about the in-depth financial and operational analysis, as well as the grant, the 10,000 grant matching funds that are available to a handful of manufacturers in Southwest Michigan. Okay, so we've reached the portion of our conversation today where we have Q&A time set aside to answer any of the questions that have surfaced during this webinar, but also any additional questions that you have for any of our partners on the call. We'd love to take this time to connect with you, answer your questions. So you can type your questions in the Q&A at the bottom of your screen if you have any. And I have some questions that have surfaced over the past few weeks as I've been talking with manufacturers about the Industry 4.0 initiative. So first question then is for Kristen at Automation Alley. Will you share a little bit about the process? So the leadership evaluation that's being offered through Automation Alley. Will you walk our manufacturers through what is that process and what is the timeline for outcomes or the results of that evaluation?
Jen, thank you for that lead, and I should have covered that in my in my overview. That's perfect. It's so simple. There are links. Either please go to that MEDC landing page. Through there's a link directly to either the leadership evaluation or to join as an essential member. Either way, we'll get you activated in your membership once you fill out a really basic application with, I don't know, 5 or 6 things: company name, email address, basics. So we'll get you connected with that essential membership within 1 or 2 days, 3 at the max. And then you'll get sent right from there a link to log into your portal and a link to take your assessment. I'm sorry, your evaluation. So once you get that link to take your leadership evaluation, you'll just open it up. It'll get direct to the evaluation. And we invite people to take it as many times as you want. We're interested to see how results change over time.
Thank you, Kristen. So Mark, this next question is for you. As you know, I was recently on a site visit with you in Chuck to walk through the technology opportunity assessments. And I'll have to say it was Very thorough, very impressive. I have a lot of amazing things to say about the service that your resource that you're offering. So once the final reports are given to the manufacturer, does MMTC then step away, or could you help our manufacturers understand how MMTC is there to support small manufacturers, not just in the short term with the technology opportunity assessment, but long term as well?
Sure, Jen, thank you. It's a perfect question. We at the center just stand ready to support whatever the client really feels that they need to do. We can do anything from stepping away altogether, or we can offer some recommendations through lean training or quality management training or some market research. What we're finding a lot of companies are in need of is market research and costing of the small to medium-sized manufacturers, and we can provide support in those areas. So, this has really allowed us to get a deeper engagement with our clients, with the C-suite individuals, and we really use this as a springboard to be a trusted advisor going forward with our clients and to provide solutions to their gaps and with things that they need. So we understand the client drives the bus, they write the check, and we'll do whatever we can to support it, but we intend and hope to engage continually once the assessment is done. And we can, a lot of times we've been able to recommend vendors that we have vetted for the solution that you are looking for, and that helps. And we are completely agnostic as it relates to that. We are developing a list of several types of vendors for the like kind of products. And so we just want to offer up the names of those vendors, and you make a selection based on what you think. But our expertise in vetting these suppliers will help you weed through all the myriad numbers of individuals that are trying to sell you something and it might not be what you need. We try to provide actually the solution that is your biggest gap and provide that solution to you.
And you are an exceptional resource to small to medium manufacturers across the state. I've heard it, I've seen it. So thanks for being there for short and long term.
Jen, can I make one other comment? I neglected to mention that we have tentatively set our roadshow in Kalamazoo to be tentatively on September 14th. And we're going to partner up with some other suppliers in the area, and it's to their symposium. It's an RPM symposium. This isn't cast in stone yet, so I ask you to go to our website, the-center.org, for further information. But we will be bringing the Industry 4.0 Roadshow to Kalamazoo in the month of September, approximately on that date. And what we're going to bring is just a number of technologies such as a light guide system and PLCs and things of that nature, some ergonomic tables and workstations that will help with implement Industry 4.0 technologies. So just take a look at our website for further information.
Awesome. Thanks for including that, Mark. The next question is for Natalie. And the question is, it seems like it's actual reality that Michigan is placing a lot of resources into Industry 4.0. How does Michigan compare to other states, both in where we're at with advanced technologies for manufacturers and resources that we're putting in from a state to advance small to medium manufacturers?
Yeah, great question. Thanks, Jen. So Michigan has the 5th largest advanced manufacturing workforce in the country. And obviously, like I mentioned, we have such a strong manufacturing base as it is. But, with this advanced manufacturing workforce and with, our very high level of engineers in the state, we are positioning ourselves as a leader in this space, in this Industry 4.0 initiative. And I think we're the very first state to actually put this much backing behind it as far as resources and funding. Haven't seen anything else around the country that has been putting this forward. So for manufacturers here in the state of Michigan, I'm hoping that this will help position you and give you the tools and the resources that you need in order to be successful in the long term, and help make your company more resilient and competitive in the long term as well. Thanks, Jen.
Thank you, Natalie. And then I just see and have one more question, and it's for Ashley. Ashley, with the three-pronged approach that you shared, is a manufacturer, if a manufacturer has been engaged in understanding technologies, can they, my term, leapfrog those educational webinars and go directly to EGI and have a conversation about the financial and operational analysis, or is there a strict process that needs to be followed? If you could share some insight on that, it would be appreciated.
Great. Yeah, good question, Jen. Yeah, we want to be flexible and nimble in our processes to get through those 3 phases. We strongly encourage companies to attend those webinars because they might learn something that they never thought about, or hear a perspective from one of their colleagues or their local manufacturers as to what was successful that they may have never thought about implementing in their business. In terms of a hard line of requiring them to attend those webinars, I would say we would open the conversation to talking about the assessments and have that flexibility for sure. But we still do highly strongly encourage you to attend the webinars. And over the next year or two, our regional program spans the next year. We're launching, as you mentioned, the webinars here at the end of the month. But our topics will change over time depending on the needs of the manufacturers in Southwest Michigan, and we'll likely be running additional webinars over the next year. So we don't want to hold up the assessment process in starting down that process, but keep an eye out for those webinars because they hopefully will be educational.
Okay, one last call for questions. All right, I don't see any, so we're going to close out just a few minutes early today. So I just want to thank everyone for joining today. We hope the informational session provided you with new insight into Michigan's Industry 4.0 initiative. Please take one of the next steps we discussed today. All of us on the webinar today desire to support you now and throughout your journey of learning about Industry 4.0 and implementing those technologies. The recording and slide deck will be sent out to those who registered. Please feel free to share the content with colleagues, with team members. And also note that in the slide deck, there will be hot links to directly access the resources that we talked about today. So you're just one click away from a resource that's going to help you move forward in Industry 4.0. So again, another thank you to the presenters and the partners that may not be on the call, but the partners are critical as well to moving Michigan's Industry 4.0 initiative forward. So have a wonderful day and please connect with us. All right, I'm signing off.